Hello and welcome back to the Weekly Wave channel. Today I'm going to be making a different kind of video. It's going to be a live review of a gig I went to at Manchester Academy 2 on a week ago on Monday, a week ago today actually. And that was to see Chelsea Wolfe with support by Mary Jane Dunphy. And yeah, I want to talk about this just for a few minutes. Just get something else, just different kind of content. And yeah, let's get into it. So we showed up to it. We showed up just before the support started, and it was great. It was really good. The support, Mary Jane Dunphy, managed to buy the record at the end of the show. It was kind of like ravey indie kind of stuff, and honestly, after listening to the record back as well, I don't want to talk about it too much because it will be in the album video that will come up. But it was a lot like more electronic sounding, a lot bassier, and all that. Obviously, you get these kind of elements to watching music live. Everything sounds a lot more kind of vivid and like overwhelming in a way. Obviously, you're dealing with these like kind of huge speaker systems and all this kind of thing, so what might be quite subtle on the album sometimes pops through, sometimes the things that are subtle don't show up at all. But the live mix was great. That was something across both of the two sets. But Mary Jane Dunphy's set was really captivating. Her stage presence was great. It was a bit of a Billy No Mates kind of vibe. Me and my dad were saying. I went to this one with my dad. Kind of like a solo performance. I don't know how much of this. Obviously, I looked at some of the notes on the record, and it seems like all of the songs were written by Mary Jane Dunphy. But whether they were all performed, it looked like there was a few producers who like kind of contributed some of the instrumentals and stuff like that. And yeah, you know, I think it added a lot having it just be her, because she did a lot of like kind of contemporary dance kind of stuff. Performance. It was much more of a performance. And her voice sounded really good live. She got a very like powerful, very like good control over her voice and all that kind of thing. Really suited and complemented Chelsea Wolfe. And yeah, it was cool to see someone who's early into their career get a pretty decent kind of slot supporting Chelsea Wolfe, I think, across all of the European dates and stuff. So yeah, I definitely recommend going and checking the album out. It's her only album that's been released so far, so it should be easy to find. And yeah, I thought there was a great interaction where some people in the front of the audience were talking during the performance, and she put them in their place, shall we say, to put it nicely. I don't want to drop her in it. I don't know what kind of damage you can have on kind of musicians' careers nowadays with the way they interact towards audience members, but you know, I will leave it at that. She definitely put them in their place in a couple of different ways. So you know, definitely go and check out Mary Jane Dunphy. It was a great warm-up to Chelsea Wolfe, who was obviously the kind of the big appeal of the show. And yeah, I will just sort of leave a cut here, show a couple of photos, and move on to the Chelsea Wolfe part of this, which should be a little bit more in-depth. I just wanted to add on to that as well, that definitely the album is kind of like more indie directive. There's still sort of some songs that like go pretty hard and have like some kind of drum effects and all that kind of thing. Like I say, it's a bit of an eclectic mix of people who seem to have contributed the music part of these songs, and she seems to have ironed out the rest of it, vocally maybe, and like maybe even co-written the songs with the producer. I don't know exactly how that kind of thing works, but yeah. You know, I think also on that kind of interaction with the crowd, it was minimal in terms of across the show. There wasn't a lot of how you guys doing kind of chat. It was just kind of song to song, play on the laptop, which I don't mind. You know, obviously it's a tough live touring. I don't know whether it's just difficult to kind of have a live band when you're early on, but you know, yeah, definitely deserved. By the way, the one crowd interaction of the actual show. You know, I like to see people be respectful, especially if you're down at the front. You know, you can stand at the back and chat. The sound's not going to carry, maybe not distract as much, but I think if you choose to get down and camp by the barrier for the main band, you've got to be respectful to the support. I don't think those people must have been doing that. So yeah, let's leave it at that. I'll just show a couple of photos off of the record and all that kind of thing, and then yeah, we'll get into the Chelsea Wolfe part. Cool. So I just want to insert here a little venue review of Academy 2 as well. This was my fourth gig at Academy 2. I'd seen Royal Republic way back in the day, Kamasi Washington and Devin Townsend doing like an acoustic and normal set as well a few years ago. I like Academy 2 a lot. The sound at each of those gigs has been great, and as it's part of the Uni of Manchester kind of like complex as well, the prices for drinks and stuff really good. They charge probably the same as what they do down in like the Union Bar downstairs, which is a massive difference from other venues, especially across Manchester. Been to a few gigs at the Ritz. That's probably been like the one I've been to the most in the last couple of years, and the prices of like drinks and everything there now is just so crazy that it was like refreshing to actually be able to go and get a pint and not have to like spend half the money of like a ticket price on it, which was a big plus. And yeah, the venue, I'd really, if you ever see anything up at Academy 2, I'd really strongly recommend going and getting tickets for it. It's a really great venue. So and the same goes for the other academies. Club Academy, I've never been to 3, and obviously the main academy is a really great venue as well, like a much bigger kind of venue, you get bigger kind of gigs, and the ticket prices have been steadily going up for that venue. I think they do charge a little bit more for the extras once you get inside there as well, but nothing to like write home about, to complain too much about. So yeah, Academy 2 review, give that a strong 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Yeah, definitely on like the higher end of Manchester gig venues. And yeah, let's get to Chelsea Wolfe. So she played the whole album of She Reaches Out To, the album that came out last year, I want to say. Yeah, I think it was last year. And that album was one of my personal favourites of last year, definitely. So it was really cool to get to hear a lot of those songs. My personal favourite, House of Self-Undoing, was... I don't think the album was played in like perfect order, but the order that it was played in was really good. I think she kind of split the songs out across the set, so it wasn't just like 10 songs of that album and then other things. It was kind of embedded into the set list, which was quite a cool idea, because usually when a band comes out and plays a full set of an album, they tend to just play the album in its entirety, which is cool, especially if the album's like well sequenced and stuff. But in this case, I don't think it like really lost anything at all from being played in like a slightly different order. I mean, I could be completely wrong with that. I'm pretty sure it was played in that kind of out of sync. But that album's really good. That's the thing with Chelsea Wolfe is all of her albums kind of, she changes her styles up quite a lot. There's the kind of, her voice is always like the through line, but the styles of music are usually quite different. I think she's sort of had heavier phases of her career. This is more of like a industrial electronic kind of like it really lent itself very well to the drummer. The drummer really like played fantastically the whole performance, and that was like one of the real highlights. Was just you know, it can be so effective when you just like hit a drum hard, and it really like sort of crisply kind of like flies through everything else. It was really well performed by the rest of the band as well. Everyone was on great form, and yeah, that was really great part of it. It was good to get to hear that album played again, and the rest of the set. So there was another 6 songs. There was the 10 songs of the album, and then there was 6 songs from across the discography and stuff. I think there was about 2 from one of the albums. I think from Hiss Spun. There was 2 songs from that album, and that is one of the heavier ones in her kind of discography. So the song 16 Psyche was probably my favourite song across the whole set, alongside House of Self-Undoing. So that was really great. She played a bit of guitar on that one as well. It was just a really great, heavier performance. And I think that kind of answered the question that I had when I was at the gig, was the audience was a very kind of alternative, heavy, leaning audience. You could tell from like kind of the shirts people were wearing and stuff. There was a lot of like metal merch and stuff like that people were kind of wearing to that gig. And yeah, that kind of answered that, because that album seems to have much heavier kind of songs in it, and maybe that's why she's got a lot of that audience from in the first place. But it was a really like great crowd. People were very respectful overall, obviously, aside from that Mary Jane Dunphy incident earlier in that set. And yeah, there was a really great acoustic performance of a song called Flatlines off one of her acoustic albums from earlier in her career. A set of like acoustic performances, I think it's called. I can't remember the exact name of it, but she just played that. The rest of the band went off the stage, and she just solo sang that song, played some acoustic guitar to it, and it was that was really great. That was one of the highlights of the set, definitely. Really cool lighting, like great lighting effects and stuff during that one as well. I'll add a picture in of that. Kind of like a spirally effect that they managed to get through the lighting and the dry ice and stuff. So, and yeah, the light show was great the whole way through. And there was a lot of like creative stage setup. Um, Obviously, Academy 2 is a small stage. There was about 4 band members, I think, aside from her. I didn't feel like everyone was sort of stood on top of each other. The guitarist was a bit hidden away, but yeah, it looked pretty cool. And yeah, the what else do I want to say? Oh, there was a cool little bit where the song "Zombie" by the Cranberries was incorporated into one of the songs off "She Reaches Out To," and that was quite cool to see as well. Great little kind of homage to the Cranberries on that part. And yeah, it was just a fantastic gig. Her voice was absolutely excellent, on point the whole way. Her control over her voice is absolutely fantastic. When it gets a bit more intense, her voice still carries through the electronic stuff. There's a lot of like glitchy guitar, like glitchy keyboard and electronic work through it. That was really cool as well. Seems to be getting sort of produced sound live as well, which sometimes you just kind of see them use presets and stuff. It seemed like there was a lot more freestyling when it came to the way that the band were playing, but that was really cool. And yeah, I've got to say it was one of the best gigs I've been to, one of the best performances I've seen for a long time. Definitely one of the best I've seen this year. And yeah, if you ever get a chance to see Chelsea Wolfe, if she ever tours near you or whatever, then I would 100% recommend going to watch her. I think she tours relatively frequently. She kind of tours each of the albums when they come out, by the looks of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's back. And yeah, I have no complaints at all about the set. It was a great night. Great choice of support. Really good like warm up introduction. Kind of like had her own thing going on, and also it wasn't like one of those bizarre support choices where they don't really complement the main artist. I quite like it to be a full gig of sets that kind of complement each other. I've seen some bizarre ones over the years for choices of support. So Dizzy Rascal supporting Muse comes to mind with that. So yeah, I've not really got too much more to say about it. I'd really recommend going and seeing Chelsea Wolfe. Definitely recommend going to the Academy 2 to see anything that you come across there. It's always a great night. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. It was a fantastic gig. Throwing a couple of photos and all that kind of thing now. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. And I'll be back with a 10 album top 10 kind of ranking pretty soon when I get the motivation to record one of those. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.